I bet I know something about you that you didn't think I knew. I bet, I'm willing to bet, that one of your biggest life goals is to be a homeowner, to own a house, to live in a big, beautiful home in a big, beautiful neighborhood. If that's true, I want you to watch this because I'm not here to tell you that you shouldn't buy a house. That's Grant Cardone. I'm not here to tell you that you should buy a house. That's Dave Ramsey. I'm here to tell you something else about your house. But before I get into that, do me a huge favor, hit subscribe, hit thumbs up. Welcome into the channel. Share the channel with someone else just like you and me who need this content. And hopefully something I say here or illustrate here on the board would be useful and helpful to you and could change your life. And if you find any value from any of my videos, feel free to smash the thumbs up. That'll help me out tremendously. And really quickly, for everyone who wants to start their own middleman business, that's a business from your phone. It's a mobile business. And all you do is match customers with businesses and you get paid to do it. You don't actually do the work. You can choose whatever industry you want to get into. It's completely up to you. I'm in the moving industry and I'm going into the website design industry. I don't move people. I don't design websites. And trust me, you don't want me to do it. But what I do is I partner with other businesses who move people and design websites. And all I do is find a customer for them, take a deposit for myself, and then dispatch the work to the ISP or independent service professional. I call it book, deposit, dispatch. You book the customer, you take a deposit, that's your $100, $150 or more, and you dispatch the work to someone else who actually does it. And then you go about enjoying the rest of your day. I've been doing it since 2020. That's all I do. I got a free live webinar where I'm going to be teaching that. And if you want to get into it, there's only one way you can get into it. You have to register, right? So you can click the link in the first comment below to get registered, or you can click the link in the video description below. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it. I'm gonna do this, and I know a lot of you are going to get upset about it. I'm not doing it intentionally just to hurt people's feelings or make you mad. I just want to show you some things and hopefully you can use it to change your life. So we're going to talk about the thing that you and I love, the thing that we've all been trained to go out and buy and get and whatnot, and and call it whatever we call it, right? So we'll just start with the house. And first thing I want you to know about the house, right? So I'm going to share this with you. You guys can let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. The first thing I'm going to let you know about the house is that your house is not an asset, right? So let's do it right here. So there's this thing called an asset and there's this thing called a liability. Now, I contend that your house is not an asset, it's a liability. Well, how do you determine that? Good question. You determine it based on cash flow. So if cash flows to you from the thing, it's an asset. So if the house puts money in your pocket, it's an asset. If the house takes money out of your pocket, it's the opposite. It's a liability. So let me ask you this. When your mortgage is due each month, for the next 30 years, who pays who? Does the lender pay you for the house or do you pay the lender? You pay the lender, right? So your mortgage, your 30-year mortgage, takes money out of your pocket. The money goes from your pocket to the bank or the lender, right? So money flows out of your pocket into the bank's pocket. So for you, it's a liability. For the bank, it's an asset. So when the banks tell you that your house is your biggest asset, they're not telling you the whole truth. The house is actually their asset and your liability. This is making sense. Let me know in the comments, right? And so again, I'm not telling you don't buy a house. I'm not telling you to go out and buy a house. I just want you to know what a house is, right? You've been lied to. I've been lied to. A house is not an asset. A house, in fact, is a liability. right? Because you have to spend the money to pay for the house. So you have a 30-year loan. You're not a homeowner. You're a loan owner. That's okay. If you're okay with that, that's fine. But what I want to show you is, number one, your house is not an asset if you live in it and pay a mortgage. Now, what can you do to flip this? All you have to do to turn it into an asset is to get a tenant, right? Rent the house out. If you rent the house out, someone comes in, they move into the house, they pay you, right? And now money flows to you from the house, makes the house an asset. Does that make sense? I know I'm doing this very quickly, but I want to show you a lot, and I don't have a lot of time, right? So the house that you live in and pay a mortgage on is not an asset. It's actual liability based on what? Based on the rules of cash flow. So, Sean, I want to have a house. I know it's a liability, but I still want to have one. What do I do? Okay, gotcha. Remember, I don't tell you not buy a house. That's Grant Cardone. I don't tell you to go out and buy a house. That's Dave Ramsey. What I tell you is do not buy the house with your what? Paycheck, right? So how do you buy a house, right? So I created this cool formula called A times C equals L. Now that we know your house is a liability, A times C equals L, which is the liability, which in this case is your house. So A times C equals L. L stands for liability. A is for asset. C is for cash flow. L is for liability, which in this case we've already determined that a house that we live in and pay a mortgage on is not an asset. It's in fact a liability. And that's okay because I'm buying a house now. I bought a house a couple of years ago. We sold the house. We're building a brand new house today. And so I don't tell you don't buy a house. I just say don't buy with a paycheck. But let me show you how we messed up the first time. Well, I just showed you that. We had a 30-year mortgage, right? So I'll show you again really quickly. 30-year mortgage. This is how me and my family got into a lot of financial trouble. 30-year mortgage. By the way, if you didn't know, the word mortgage actually means death pledge, right? But no one would sign up for a 30-year death pledge, so they changed the name, right? So the 30-year mortgage means what? Means you have a 30-year commitment to pay off a lender, right? So how do you pay for your mortgage, right? You're going to look at it and say, well, I have a job. That job gives me a paycheck. Okay, gotcha. And then I'm going to say, all right, so you use a paycheck to pay your mortgage, correct? And you're going to say, yeah. And then I'm going to say, how long is your mortgage? And then you're going to say 30 years. And I'm going to say, all right, so how long do you need to have that paycheck? 30 years. That's why I always tell you, if you buy it with your paycheck, it's going to tie you into a 30-year obligation you don't want to be a part of. So essentially what you just did, you agreed to sell the next 30 years of your life just to pay for a house. That's a terrible idea, right? Terrible idea. So what we want to do is we want to get rid of needing a job, get rid of needing a paycheck, and we want to come up here and do things differently. So we're going to get rid of this job. Sure, we have a 30-year mortgage. I'm going to have a mortgage on my house. Nothing wrong with that. I always tell you guys, you're never a homeowner, you're a loan owner. People always say, I don't like to rent. Buying is better than renting. Okay, let me help you out. Even if you pay off your mortgage, you don't own the home. Try not. Do this. Don't pay your property taxes and find out if you're the true owner, right? So, and even if you have a mortgage, you still rent. You rent the mortgage from the lender, and then you rent the property from the state. You always rent. There's no such thing as home ownership. There's loanership, but there's no such thing as you own the home outright, at least as far as I know. If anybody knows different, educate me in the channel. Help us out. Appreciate it. Asset times cash flow equals liability. A stands for asset, C for cash flow, L for liability. You don't have to put a house here. You can put a car, you can put a business, you can put anything there. But a liability, now that we know the rules of cash flow, we know that a house is a liability. Now we know that if the only way you know how to make money is a paycheck from a job, I don't want to trade 30 years on this job just to pay for a house. That's a bad investment. So how do you do it? Perfect. Okay, gotcha. Asset times cash flow equals liability. Here's what we're going to do. First thing we're going to do is acquire an asset. Here's how I bought my house. Here's how I did it. First thing I did is I created a business in 2020. I created a middleman business in 2020. This middleman business is a moving service. I don't move anybody. I don't want to move anybody. All I did was partner with other movers in Dallas who would actually move you. If you call my company and get booked for moving, yes, I'll take a deposit. I ain't moving you. I don't have trucks. I don't have crew. I don't have any of that. So I created a middleman business, a middleman moving company. By the way, if you guys get into training, you'll find out you don't have to only do moving. You can literally choose any industry you want. The blueprint is still the same. Find a customer, take a deposit, send the work to somebody else. You could do commercial cleaning, home cleaning, roofing, heating, AC, pest control, dog walking. You can do carpet cleaning. I'm trying to think of what the students are doing in the class. Carpet cleaning. We have students who do window tinting, mobile detailing, television mounting, window cleaning, on and on and on. It never ends. Whatever you want to do, as long as you can make money off of it, we can teach you how to partner with another business, and you're done. Just put middleman in the comments to get that link. So creating a middleman business, that's my asset, right? So let's bring it up here. 30-year mortgage. I don't want to go to work. Nope. So what did I do? I created a middleman business, right? That's my asset, my business. I started in 2020. It's 2024. We've been doing it 4 years now. Created a middleman business. I let that thing make cash flow. So let's say, for instance, if my business only made, and keep it low, $5,000 a month cash flow, and that's easy. You can book one customer a day and almost make that in a month. But if you book two, you can make about $9,000 a month, because I try to get you about $150 every customer you book, right? So I created that middleman business that makes about $5,000 a month in cash flow. Doesn't need me. I just told you, I don't move anybody, right? My next industry is going to be website design. I'm going into. I'm not moving you, and I ain't designing your website because I don't know how. But I know companies, I know people who know how to design your website. They might charge you $2,500 for the website. I'll just take a $500 cut, and they'll build the website for you. I'm done, right? That's pretty cool, huh? Because I got somebody here in Dallas who charged $2,500 for the website, and I said, hey, the customer's going to pay $2,500. He said, that's what I book it at normally. I said, would you be willing to do it for $2,000? He said, yep. And so the ISP, Independent Service Professional, the website guy, he's going to actually, instead of doing it for $2,500, he'll do it for $2,000, which means what? My DC, my deposit commission, is going to be $500 when I book the customer. So for every customer I book, he'll do it for $2,000. I'll take a $500 cut. He'll still do all the work. I don't do any of the work. I just get a commission for sending him a customer, and I'm done. So just want to show you guys that's how it works. So whatever industry you choose, we try to get you around $150 per deposit. So my business, $5,000 per month. We did that in the first year, actually. And then I'm going to use that cash flow, that $5,000 a month cash flow, to buy what? To buy my house. So, and the mortgage ain't going to be that much, but I'm just making an example. $5,000 a month, you could get about I'd say about a $750 up to about $900,000 house, something really nice. So, but $5,000 a month, going to use that to pay for the house. Now I get the house for free. And folks, this is how you buy a house for free. Because you don't need a job to cover the mortgage. If you got to get a job to cover this, then you're going to spend your life selling your time for money, and you're never going to have freedom. I don't want to do that. I want to buy my house for free, so I'm going to use asset times cash flow equals liability. Because we've all been lied to. The house is not an asset. The house is a liability. Well, Sean, the house is going to appreciate. It doesn't always appreciate. I sold a house 2 years ago for $700,000. They cannot get more than $600 for that same house today, probably $550. So they've already lost money. It doesn't always appreciate. It just depends on where you buy. If you buy at the top of a market, you lose money. It's already at the top. It can't go any higher. That's why I always recommend buy during the crash and let it go up. So there's no guarantee that a house would appreciate. There's no guarantee that it will do that. Most houses over the past couple of years have depreciated. Just go do the research. So don't let anybody tell you a house always appreciates. Now, if you don't care about appreciation or equity or anything like that, then fine, go get your house, right? But I'm just showing you how I bought my house for free without needing a job. And that's what I want to share with you guys today. I hope you got something from this. Let me know if you agree or disagree. I know they don't teach this in school. I know this ain't all over the internet. This is just something I learned because when we bought our first house, it was tied to a paycheck. And mostly my wife's paycheck, and she was burned out, she was tired, she was exhausted. My friends, I have a lot of friends here in Dallas who watch this channel. They know my story. They've been friends of mine for years. They know I'm telling you the truth. And my wife was tired, she was exhausted, she was burned out. She would come home, she'd be falling asleep 6, 7 o'clock, just tired. And I was so tired of that because I was like, no, y'all not gonna just work my wife for 30 years because we want a house. No. And I didn't marry her so she could be worked to death and then y'all give her back to me when she's 65, whatever's left of her. No, we're not doing that. And so I decided, hey, we're going to sell this house. We're going to get out of this bad situation. Luckily for us, we made a big profit, but that was no guarantee, number one. Number two, that wasn't even the plan. Whenever I saw she was tired, she was exhausted, and she was the breadwinner. She was bringing in most of the money while I tried to figure stuff out. I was like, no, we can't do that. House ain't that important for you to lose your energy and us lose all this time together. No, we only get one life. We're going to enjoy this life. I'd rather have my wife at home spending time with me, full of energy and excitement, than for us to be living in a house that requires all of our time. No, because you have to have a paycheck. So we sold the house, got out of the house, and said we'll never buy a house again until we get what? Until we get cash flow from an asset. So what did I do? I started my middleman business 2020. First year made 77 grand. That's it. But I felt like I was on to something, so I kept doing it. And then all of a sudden, it started growing. This year, we're up to 300 grand with the business. I know it's not a million. I hope it is one day soon. But still, 300,000 for a guy who didn't go to college. Well, I went for 1 week. Had kids very young, high school. Don't do that. And grew up in, poverty. No financial education whatsoever. I learned the hard way. When I saw my wife tired, that was the hard way. When I saw my wife paycheck paying all the bills and covering everything, that was the hard way. I knew we couldn't survive that way. And so some of you are in that position right now, and you can't survive that way. It's draining you, it's robbing you, it's stealing your life from you. You hate work, you hate your life, you hate waking up to it, you hate going to sleep to it. And you know that if something happened to you today and death's angel showed up and say, hey, listen, I'm going to have to take you out of this world today. But before I do, let me ask you, did you enjoy this life? 99% of people will say, nope, not at all. And so why wait until that time comes? Let's enjoy life now. That's what it's about. You don't have to be rich. I'm not talking to you about being rich. If I could teach you how to start a middleman business, go to middlemanceo.com, jump into get the VIP training, start working with me one-on-one. I'll teach you how to build a business. Hopefully we can get you to 10K very, very quickly a month. But I can show you all the things I learned so you can go quickly. And I love doing it. I enjoy it. So I can't wait to work with you because the class is on fire. The students are on fire. Everybody's having a blast. Can't wait till you join us. But you don't have to do that. If you want to do something else, get vending machines, start another business, that's good too. Just learn how to make money when you're not at work. And I promise you it's going to change your life. And then let that thing grow. And then when it produces enough cash flow, use the cash flow to buy that liability, which is the house. But it starts with the asset, not a paycheck. Most people, their formula is going to look a little different for a 30-year mortgage. They're not going to start with the asset. They're not going to start with the asset. They're going to start with because this is how the rich think, right? And I'm not rich, but being rich, you can have a rich mindset, even though the money's not there, it's on the way. But if you have a poor mindset, you're always going to be lacking, right? But if you have a rich mindset, you're going to understand, hey, I need to get an asset that creates cash flow and then use the cash flow to buy the liability. Whereas the poor and the middle class, their thinking is going to be totally different. They're going to say, hey, I need to get a job and then get that paycheck and then use that paycheck to buy the liability, which is the house, right? And this is a trap because the job that gives you the paycheck, it's not safe, it's not secure, it's not trustworthy, it's not reliable, And the worst part, that's not even the worst part. The worst part is you have to sell your time to get the paycheck by the hour. See, I told you there's no freedom in that. So I hope this helps you. You're welcome to screenshot this. Never forget this. It'll bless you and change your life. I got to go. See you guys in the live training on the next video. Peace.